Alright guys, so taking a look at this, we are looking at some recursive equations from some tables. Still dealing with arithmetic, remember, adding and subtracting by the same number each time. Geometric, multiplying and dividing by the same number each time, okay? So, the idea here is still we're doing that recursive equation. Remember, the recursive equation comes in two parts. Okay, two equations that make up the one formula. So the first thing we need to recognize is where it's equal to 0, right? And we look at this a sub 0, that's where it equals 0. Now, seeing the 0 here, that represents this left column, the input column, okay? And so that's the term number. So we look for where it's 0, and that's the number that we're equal to, okay? So a sub 0 would equal 11. Then the a sub n, that represents our next term, right, is equal to a sub n minus 1, which is the previous term, and so we got to use the pattern here, right? So the pattern being, as we go from 11 to 7 to 3 to negative 1 to negative 5, we're subtracting 4 each time. So that's our pattern. So on this one, really, all it comes down to is just writing the parts we need, right? Remember, this recursive equation represents connecting outputs, how we connect from one output to the next output. Okay, that's all it's about. Okay, so this a sub 0 represents where we begin, where we start, the 0 term. A sub n represents the next term, a sub n minus 1 the previous term, and then we attach the growth to it. Okay, so really if we wanted to, we could go ahead and just do that and then kind of go through. So a sub 0, we look at that 0 term, that's what we write there. Then for the a sub n minus 1, we look at the growth here. This one we're adding 10 each time. We put the growth just right on. So every single time this a sub 0 is coming from that piece. Okay, and every single time this one is coming from the growth there. Okay, so how is it changing? How is it growing? This one we're subtracting 7. Okay, and this part is always going to be the same for the recursive equation. Okay, remember, it's basically how we say what's our start number to get the next term. It equals that previous term, and then plus or minus or multiply or divide whatever that growth is, that common ratio or common difference. Okay, so again, it's really all we got to do. So it's actually pretty easy on these ones. So try the rest of them on your own first, then come back and kind of watch, check yourself. So number 3, start at negative 28. Look at our growth, negative 28 to negative 34. If you weren't sure, take that second number, negative 34, subtract the first number, it'd be like plus. You'd end up with a negative 6, which tells us we're subtracting 6 each time. So I put a minus 6 there. Next one, we've got the 0 here for 7, so a sub 0 equals 7. 7 to 9 to 11, going up by 2 each time. So put 2 down here with the a sub n equals a sub n minus 1. Okay, again, start at negative 11. What's our growth? Subtracting 5 each time. Put a minus 5 there. Okay, and that's all it takes for these ones. Okay, now sometimes we could end up having, the 0 in a different position, and maybe we had something like this. We would still pick that 0 term wherever it's at. Okay, in these cases, they're all pretty much up there at the top, aren't they? So a sub 0 equals negative 33, and a sub n equals a sub n minus 1. How's it growing? We're subtracting 3 each time, so I put minus 3. Starting at 27, so a sub 0 equals 27. Going down the table, 27 to 35 to 43. Looks like we're adding 8 each time. So a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 8. Starting at 40, so a sub 0 equals 40. a sub n equals a sub n minus 1. And it looks like we're subtracting by 4. Okay, a sub 0 equals negative 7. A sub n equals a sub n minus 1. Looks like we are adding 4 each time. Generally want to check a few. Okay, so start at 0. A sub 0 equals negative 19. A sub n equals a sub n minus 1. Negative 19 to negative 13 to negative 7. Looks like we're adding 6 each time. So plus 6. Again, a sub 0 equals 1. Then we look at this, so it looks like we're adding 2, but wait a minute. Would that work for adding 2 there? It wouldn't, would it? Okay, so if that's the case, now it is no longer arithmetic like all the rest were, right? Because we're adding and subtracting. So maybe we try multiply. 1 to 3 would times by 3. 3 times 3 is at 9. Yep, and 27 and 81. So we've got a geometric, but guess what? We write it the same way. The only difference is we go times 3 instead of plus 6 or plus 3. It's the only difference between the geometric and arithmetic type of patterns. Okay? So then we just keep on going. So we've got our 0 term here. So a sub 0 equals negative 2. A sub n equals a sub n minus 1. 2 to 10 to 50. They're all negative. So I'm timesing by 5, it looks like. Times 5. A sub 0 equals 3. A sub n equals a sub n minus 1. 3 to 12, we times by 4. 12 to 48 by 4. But positive to positive means we're times by a negative 4. Okay. Alright, now number 14 may look crazy because it has a fraction, but that's alright. We just go a sub 0 equals negative 1/6. And a sub n equals a sub n minus 1. And if we're not sure, cross that one out and we'll go 1 to 6. Well, we'll probably times it by 6. Is 6 times 6 36? It is. So we times by 6. So again, this part right here is always going to stay the same. That's just how we represent the start and the growth recursively. Okay, 3 to 6 to 12, definitely times them by 2. Start out at 3. Start out at negative 4/5. Negative 4/5 to 4 to negative 20, times them by a negative 5 this time. Now 108 to 36, now we're going down, aren't we? 12 to 4. So it looks like we're dividing by 3, aren't we? So I start at 108, because that's my 0, and then I just divide by 3. And it's alright to write that division. Okay, then our last problems. Again, a sub 0 equals 16. Then a sub n equals a sub n minus 1. 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. Definitely dividing by 2. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually go back and think of that differently, because dividing by 2 is the same as timesing by 1/2. So if you wanted to, you could actually put times by 1/2 instead. Okay, a sub 0 equals 625. Goes to 125 to 25 to 5, so we're dividing by 5 or timesing by 1/5. So a sub n equals a sub n minus 1, and then you put whichever one you would like to. The last one, a sub 0 equals 256. So as we're going down, you can see right here is kind of easy to see that we're dividing by 4 or timesing by 1/4. So a sub n equals a sub n minus 1, and I could times by 1/4 this time. Alright, so really that's pretty much all we got going on here, guys. That's all there is to it.